How do you bend a 1/2 inch bar of bronze?
Going where the fair winds blow, our home is where the waters flow. We'll show you what we've come to know on board while sailing wisdom.
All right, the bronze chain plates are completely set. Everything is ready to mount on the boat, except they need to have this bit of a bend that the old ones had. How do you bend bronze that's a 1/2 inch thick? It's really, really strong. So there are a couple ways. One is to go to an actual machine shop and have them bend it under a giant brake press, and it'll happen. It'll happen really quickly, or it'll break. And well, two issues there. One, I've put a lot of work into making these bars and I don't want to risk them breaking. And two, it's expensive. You have to pay someone to do that. So if you can do it yourself, you then save some money and then you don't have to pay anyone to do that. And then the whole project then costs less. So we're going to give it a try, see if we can bend it ourselves using a pickup truck, a jack for the truck, and some wood.
Warren, who's one of our patrons, sent me these pictures which served as inspiration for the entire idea for how to devise a system to bend the bronze ourselves.
Okay, the concept is really simple. We're just making a jig where the angle that we need this to bend is represented by the rise over the run. So we have pieces of wood supporting a higher part and then a lower part that it rests on, and then we simply put the axle of the jack on the point that we want it to bend. Then we jack up the pickup truck, and the weight of the pickup truck should then push this down using gravity to then give us the bend that we need. Now we don't need to figure out the exact angle because all we really need is the run and the rise, and that'll give us the angle that we're looking for. There we have our bend. Okay, I got the chain plates all bent with the truck and the jack, so that actually worked really well. It's a very simple method, but it worked, which is the important part. So now we're back at the boat, and we're going to put them all in, put all the bolts in, get all the fasteners put on without any bedding compounds. So this is a dry fit. Once we have everything exactly how it's supposed to go, then we're going to loosen bolts and then put all the bedding compound in and then torque it down and let it cure. And hopefully with that, it's done.
The next day.
Welcome to the latest installment of problems and how to fix them. This is our chain plate and this is our chain plate bolt. When I put it in, the bolt head doesn't actually touch the chain plate. There's a tiny little gap. Now when I was buying the bolts, the hardware store said, oh, not a problem. Here's a nylon washer. You put that over it. And then when you put it in, the nylon washer will deform and everything will sit perfectly flush. Well, that's great, except that I now don't have confidence that the nylon washer is going to survive as long as this whole setup will. So I'm worried that the washer is going to get eaten up by UV and then crack and then fall off. And then my chain plate bolt is now going to be way too loose. So after talking with our patrons, the very simple solution to this is simply countersink this hole. Then the bolt can sit flush and everything will be fine. So I went to Ace Hardware and for 20 bucks I got the 3/4 inch countersink, and we're now going to countersink all the bolt holes. That way the bolts can go in and sit all the way flush. We won't have any issues with needing a washer or anything like that in there. Now you might be worried about the galvanic corrosion between a stainless steel bolt and a silicon bronze chain plate, and I was too, which is why we're going to be using Tef Gel. And since we're going to be using Tef Gel in here anyway, why have the nylon washer for the supposed purpose of being an electrical isolator? This is going to isolate the head, but it's not going to isolate literally everything else. So we're going to use this with Tef Gel anyway. So now we'll just scratch that and just go with Tef Gel. The correct way to torque anything is you have the bolt inside and then you put the torque wrench on the nut and you turn the nut. That's the right way to do it. In our situation, the right way doesn't fit. So we're going to be doing it the wrong way, and it'll be close enough and good enough. So originally, I was using my grandfather's snap-on torque wrench. The sucker is really old and still really well, it works. But the problem is I have to be looking at the dial, and I also don't want to risk using this outside because it's my grandfather's. So I got a cheaper option. So I went to Harbor Freight and I got a brand new Quinn torque wrench. Fancy. And it's the kind that makes the clicky sound. So that means I'm going to set the torque wrench up on the inside of the boat with the leg against the deck or the bulkhead or something. Somewhere so it's stuck. And then I'm going to go outside and I'm going to turn with the breaker bar and a huge pipe and turn the bolt. And when I feel the bolt click, which I hope I feel the bolt click, I'll know that I reached the torque spec and I'm done. And then I go to the next bolt. So it's going to be a lot of in and out, running back and forth to be on the inside and set the torque wrench up and then go to the outside and torque everything. It's going to be a lot of running around, but I think this might work. Now, I'm a fan of using good tools, but in this situation, being how stuff can fall in the water, I'm going to use cheap tools. So these are impact drivers. They're still 6-sided, so they're better than a 12-sided one, as you guys have pointed out, but they're from Harbor Freight. So I'm hoping that because they're an impact socket, they will hold up to the torque that we're going to put them on. Even though we're not doing any impact loads, it's still a lot of load. So let's get cracking. The chain plates are now fully installed. They're bedded, the bolts are torqued down, everything is finished. The next thing to do is connect the rigging. But before I do that, I want to clean this boat up and make it shine. That way when we're tensioning all the rigging and getting that all set up, we're doing it in a clean space, not around a bunch of old junk that's just sitting there because it's part of the project. So let's get cleaning.
Se levanta por la mañana, maquillada se pone bien linda. Vente, vente, baby, vamos. Tú eres la chica que alegra el día. Por amor, por amor, por amor, por amor. Ella sale del trabajo, ella quiere salir con su amiga. Se pone los jeans apretados, mira las cosas que hace la niña. Se pone loca y baila solita. Busca hombre pa' que la mantenga. Cada día se pone bonita. Por amor, por amor,
what a difference it makes. Like, there is no amount of scrubbing and soap in the world that can match a brand new paint job. It's so clean looking. So yeah, that's just what we do. I don't put any tape down or anything like that because we paint every year. And I've just actually, mostly Maddie does it. She does really good edge work. I'm okay at it. And you just paint right up to the edges of where you need with a small chip brush and then fill in all the gaps between it. It goes pretty quickly. We're able to bang out the whole deck in one day. It's just 7 hours in the sun. It just really takes it out of you. So that's it. Now we're going to let the deck finish curing, give it about a week, and then we can tension the rigging and get the chain plates fully completed. Get everything done. That way it's all set and ready to roll. We are so close to having this boat ready to sail, and it's so nice to do the cosmetic things on the boat rather than the, oh, that's really broken, let's fix that kind of jobs. So yeah, I'm so excited and I can't wait to go sailing again.
Thanks for watching this episode of Sailing Wisdom. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Rigging Doctor episode. And if you're interested in even more Rigging Doctor awesomeness, consider becoming a patron to see all of our extras. Can't wait to see you next time as you join us out here on the high seas.